So, with me being a new player to Forza Horizon 2 here in the big 2026, the last thing I ever thought would happen to me is me getting out of the Horizon hub thing here in the first one that you actually get to. And I pretty much just paused there and looked around, not even kidding. Now, many of you might be wondering what I mean by that, but I'm not gonna lie, guys. The last thing I kind of thought about was me jumping on Forza Horizon 2. Again, if you guys are kind of late here, this game came out in 2014, so it is not very new by any means. And it literally made me stop in my tracks and kind of just look around. Now, the first thing I had to do was, of course, go to my first race. I did end up starting in the Supra. So the game basically has me do my first overall championship. So impressions of the first race. And you know what the insane part is though? In a lot of ways, it kind of made me a bit speechless. Now, this is the first official race I have to do in the game. I did, as I said before, unlock the first championship in the Super, so I have to do these, to get through the game a bit more. And I kind of started on the bottom of this town area, and I was kind of looking around at the buildings and the overall design and the atmosphere, and I was locked in, and I wasn't really expecting this, though, because, again, this game is old. I was kind of going into it like, oh, okay, well, a lot of people love Forza Horizon 2, right? I'm mad excited to play it. I played 3 and 4, so I was kind of going into this game with super high expectations, and we all do know sometimes doing that, you could probably get disappointed. Well, you know what? It was far from that. In fact, I was kind of mind blown, and a few reasons for that. For one, I have said this before, but the graphics in this game, which I will touch on in a video in the future, by the way, this game looks amazing for 2014. I am on the Xbox One, if you are wondering. I'm getting a Series X in the next month or so, and then I will probably end up jumping on this game again to see how it looks on the Series X. But even on the Xbox One, with this game being older, it still looks fantastic. Like, it truly is amazing. I will break that down in another video. But the other thing I noticed right off the bat, and this is coming from someone who started on Forza Horizon 5 and went backwards, every single Forza game truly has such great handling, dude. Like, I don't know if I'm losing my mind, but I have not played any of these games yet, and obviously I'm on 2 now. Every game has such great handling. I love the way these cars feel. I like how it feels going around a corner. It's just, it's the type of thing that you probably look for in a racing game. And the fact that they had the handling this locked in back then is pretty wild to me. What's funny is, y'all know how I was saying before, I kind of stopped a little bit and looked around. Well, that was not the first time I did end up doing that. Funny part is, I did end up finishing the other race. I spawned over here by, like, these flowers in this area. I kind of legit paused here and just looked around. It just, the coloring of this game, it kind of makes you stop and just look around, which if the game's doing that, it's doing something right. From there, though, I decided to head over to the next race that I had to do, and surely enough, I was getting distracted by the fast travel boards and different things, and I kind of found myself just looking out into the distance and seeing, like, the open fields and the mountains. And it's funny, guys, because when you have to get to a second location in this game, at least for me anyway, or I also kind of experienced this in Forza Horizon 3 a bit, like, it took me so long to get to the next event. I have no idea why. I have to get over there, like, you literally have to do the event, bro, and I was not getting to the races. I was literally doing everything but the race. Like, check this shot out here when I look out into the mountains in the background, dude. I paused there and I was like, you know what? I don't need to race. I'm just going to sit right here. But I did end up getting into the second event, which was a circuit race, and I don't know why, but for some odd reason, I was still trying to get used to the handling a little bit, which Forza Horizon 3 and 4, I kind of had to catch on or, do a few races, but I was kind of locked in pretty quick in this game, and that's probably from playing 3 and 4 a good amount, so I jumped into 2, and I was kind of familiar with it, you know what I'm saying? But I gotta admit, though, I don't even know how to put this into words, but the feeling Forza Horizon 2 gives you, it just, this game really was in a different era. Like, I feel like games back then in, like, 2010, I say, like, 2010 to, like, 2015-ish, like, they really just had a different feeling to them. I don't even know how to explain it. Y'all know what I mean? Like, I don't even know how to put it into words. It's just something I was feeling when I was playing this game, and I was thinking about it the entire beginning championship I was playing. I was driving the Supra. I was like, all right, maybe it's just me, like, losing my mind a bit, or maybe it's just nostalgia. But the thing is, I never played this game back in the day, and yet I'm still feeling nostalgia in some way. I'm jumping on some roads, like right now you guys will see me again. I'm probably going to be in the Supra most of this because that was the car I had to start in, compared to something like 3 where you had different cars and all that. But either way, though, I was kind of just taking the roads up and kind of taking different routes and experiencing some of the areas and stuff like that. And I can definitely see Forza Horizon 2 being one of my favorite maps in the series again. I don't know if you can have 3 or 4 favorites like that, but you know what? It might end up happening because so far I love Forza Horizon 4's map. I love 3. And now experiencing 2 here in 2026 as a brand new player, I'm also loving this map on top of it. Like, I can definitely see why so many people talked so highly of this game, and I'm noticing that in the beginning. Now, funny part is, one of the races, or at least the last race I had to do for the Super Championship was a cross-country race. This one kind of threw me for a loop, but also, y'all know I'm kind of an off-road head, so I got pretty excited seeing this, though, because I do know there's off-road vehicles in this game. I do know there is cross-country races, rally racing, and I will definitely be enjoying those when I get to them. But I was driving the Supra, I'm like, nah, these are the kind of races I love to see. Now, obviously, I wouldn't say a Supra would make a lot of sense racing it across mountains in a field, but you know what? It was still a fun experience and kind of gets you like, okay, well, we will be doing some off-road stuff in the future, right? That's like the feeling I got from it. And when you are doing some different races, like one was a sprint, one was a circuit, then they throw in like an off-road race in there, to me, it kind of made sense. I'm like, all right, no, I'm good with this. I'm fine with doing these cross-country, jumping on the road again, flying off the road, and trying to find the route up the mountain and stuff like that. It's just, with the sun coming down and the atmosphere of the coloring of the map, dude, it puts you in like a whole different vibe. I don't even know, like, maybe try to break that feeling down a bit, because it's kind of weird. You all know how I was saying before, it's kind of like a nostalgic thing. Well, the odd part is, I, again, never played this game back in the day, so I'm, like, wondering how it actually gave me the nostalgic feeling. But then again, though, it's probably along the lines of, dude, these games were absolutely amazing back then. Like, you gotta go play them, and surely enough, with me jumping into them, I can definitely see it 150%. And after I did end up doing that final race, I was going to head back and try to get the last thing completed, which was a showcase event, but I stumbled upon a Koenigsegg Agera. So y'all know what I did? It was a bucket list. It was a bucket list, which brought me to Forza Horizon 3 and maybe understand that more, which is a big reason why I am also playing the old game, so I can understand where things happened in the franchise. And so far, it's been amazing. But with the Koenigsegg Agera, I was expecting this car to be fast. Obviously. I mean, it's a Koenigsegg, bro. You know what I'm saying? This thing ain't gonna be slow. And immediately when I started to drive it, even over 100 miles an hour, I immediately felt the sense of speed in Forza Horizon 2. Like, it was legit amazing. And I immediately was like, all right, I need to get some fast cars and just fly down the road at 200 miles an hour. Like, I have to get the Bugatti and stuff later on. I'm glad I can't get it right now. I'd rather wait and all that. But doing around 150 something miles an hour, 180 miles an hour in the Koenigsegg, I was so locked in. I'm like, nah, I already get this feeling. The sense of speed is there. I'm driving a Koenigsegg. It's obviously a bucket list event. But I do like how the bucket list kind of give you a chance to drive some of these cars, because it's like, oh, look, a teaser, bro. You want that car, don't you? Well, guess what? You ain't getting it. And then finally, the last event I needed to do before I moved on to the next part was when you are driving the Ferrari and you have to pretty much race all the jets along one of the coolest roads I've probably ever been on in the game so far. And I do know there's more of those. The planes are like leaving like trails of smoke in the back and all that. They're flying by you, the camera's shaking. And I'm starting to really notice how the showcase events kind of capture that stuff in the game. You know what I mean? And every single Forza I've played so far kind of has some unique races in them with these showcases. I can't wait to see what the other ones are, as I've only done this one so far. And also, I think the train one as well. I've also done that one, but I haven't done any more because I'm still progressing. But one thing I was kind of laughing at, though, in this race, and this actually happens to me a good amount in some of the other races as well, is you guys will probably end up seeing me crash in the background because I was doing everything but driving, all right? I was looking around, looking at the buildings, looking at the mountains, looking at the plains, and I was like, oh yeah, I kind of need to go that way. I need to stay on the road here. And I was kind of amazed because the first showcase event, like, if you guys have never played Forza Horizon 2, this will probably make you feel the same way, though. Like, it puts you on such an amazing road with, like, the coastal drive that you're on, and then it has the plains in there, have, like, the rock face and the buildings on top, which I also have no clue how they even build stuff like that on top of the rock mountains, alright? I honestly don't even understand it. Very interested in the engineering behind that, but I don't understand it at all. But you kind of find yourself just looking at everything but what you should be doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, this game kind of gets you sucked into the atmosphere. At least that's something I'm noticing about it playing it early on here. It is something that I feel like a lot of games probably should try to capture more, like getting you locked into the environment or just that special feeling when you are playing on the map. And I feel like Forza Horizon 2 really captures that. I almost have a feeling that players might be like, dude, you feel this way about Forza Horizon 2, man? Wait until you play Forza Horizon 1. At least that's what I have been hearing. But once I did end up completing that mission, I was then greeted with a cutscene with the beautiful Lamborghini Aventador right in the back of that, and then also an LFA. I was like, oh yeah, this is dope. You could see like the Ferrari lined up in the back there taking photos and all that. And he was like, all right, well now you kind of need to head over to the next location. I was like, all right, well just spawn me over there. But no, you have to road trip to the next thing. I thought that was so dope. I love the fact that you had to road trip with, like, I know they're just drivatars and all that, but it was so cool how it pretty much went, all right, well, you now have to drive over to that next area, have a fun road trip, kind of gives you a chance to check out the map and get to the next area. And as a new player, this was truly an amazing experience. Do stay tuned for a lot of videos on this game. So far, I gotta say it, I'm loving Forza Horizon 2. It's kind of exactly what I expected, and also what people did end up telling me. So far, it's really living up to it.